Today, we're going to dig into a classic psychology paper that uncovers something pretty fascinating and honestly, a little unsettling about your brain. It's a mental shortcut that's running 24/7, whether you realize it or not.
So have you ever had this happen? You're just glancing over a crowd of people, and bam, one face just seems to jump right out at you. It grabs your attention before you've even consciously decided to look for it. What's the deal with that?
Well, to get to the bottom of that, we first need to understand a really core theory about how our brains are built to see emotion, and maybe even more importantly, to see threats.
It's called the Anger Superiority Effect, and the basic idea is that from an evolutionary point of view, it was way more important for our survival to spot a potential danger than it was to spot a friend. So the theory goes, our brains actually developed a special fast track for angry faces.
Okay, but how do you even test a theory like that? Well, first we have to get a handle on the two main tools our brain uses to look for things. They work very differently, and that difference is really the key to this whole mystery.
So, on the one hand, you've got what's called pre-attentive search. You can think of this like your brain's radar, just scanning everything all at once, totally automatically. Things that are unique just pop right out. On the other hand, there's attentive search. This is more like your brain's spotlight, slowly and carefully moving from one thing to the next. So the big question is, which one of these do we use to find an angry face in a crowd?
So, scientists set out to answer that very question. And their first experiment gave them a really powerful clue, but it also gave them a massive headache.
The setup was pretty simple, really. They had people look at a grid of 9 faces, and their only job was to hit a button as fast as they possibly could if they saw one face that had a different expression from all the others.
And this is our first big clue. Just look at those numbers. People were consistently hundreds of milliseconds faster at finding the one angry face in a sea of happy or neutral ones than they were at doing the reverse. I mean, it looks like a slam dunk for the theory, right?
So, there you have it. Angry faces are found faster. The Anger Superiority Effect is real. That's it then, right? Case closed?
Oh, not so fast. You know, good science is all about poking holes in your own ideas, and researchers spotted 2 big potential problems. First, what if we're just quicker to see angry faces because we see them less often? That's the novelty problem. And second, the variance problem. What if a crowd of angry faces is just more visually messy or varied, making it physically harder to spot the one happy face? These 2 issues meant the results weren't solid enough.
All right, so this is where it gets really clever. To solve this puzzle and get rid of those pesky complications, the researchers came up with a new experiment designed to find the smoking gun.
The thinking behind this new experiment was just brilliant. See, if finding an angry face is a true pop-out, that automatic pre-attentive search we talked about, then it shouldn't really matter if the crowd has 4 faces or 9 faces. Your time should stay pretty much the same. But if it's a slow, attentive search, adding more faces should definitely slow you down.
And here it is, the first piece of hard evidence. Look at this. When people were searching for the one angry face, going from a crowd of 4 to a crowd of 9 barely slowed them down at all, only 36 milliseconds. That angry face just pops right out, no matter how big the crowd gets.
But now, look what happens when you flip the script. To find the one happy face in a crowd of angry ones, adding those extra faces slowed people down by more than 250 milliseconds. That's not a small difference. That is a huge drop in performance. The search becomes a slow, painful slog.
And that right there is the smoking gun. This proves our brain is using 2 totally different systems. Spotting a threat is automatic. It's a pre-attentive pop-out. But finding a friendly face in a crowd of potential threats, that forces us into that slow, one-by-one attentive search.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It proves you have a highly efficient, totally automatic threat detector built right into your brain, and it's running all the time.
Let's just put a number on how dramatic this is. For every extra angry face you add to the crowd, it took people 52 milliseconds longer to find the happy one. But for every extra happy face, it only slowed down the search for the angry one by a measly 8 milliseconds. It's an incredible processing advantage for anything that looks like a threat.
And really, as the original researchers said themselves, this all comes back to survival. The ability to instantly pick up on a danger signal from someone else's face, for our ancestors, that was literally a life or death skill.
So yeah, this is not just some quirky little lab experiment. It's like we're looking through a window at an ancient, unconscious alarm system.
This is old software that's still running on our very modern hardware, and it's influencing what grabs your attention every single day.
And that really just leaves us with one final kind of mind-bending question. If our brains are hardwired to do something this important automatically, totally beneath the surface of our awareness, what else are they doing back there that we don't even know about?